So, good afternoon. We're back again. We are back again, and this time it's a different kind of reaction. It's a reaction to a fans forum yesterday afternoon, and kind of pretty much what I expected, really, just the usual drivel. But we are going to dissect it. I'm going to read out the whole transcript, so I'm going to have to do this as quick as I can because I am on Rance's channel in 40 odd minutes. So I'm going to have to do this as quick as I possibly can and get your thoughts on it as well. Make sure you are smacking the likes up. We have got a game tonight. Obviously, I won't be doing a watch along anymore, but I will be going live again on here at about 6:45 for a build-up show with Tom, and then I'll be on straight afterwards for the video call-in show, so you guys can come on and have your say and react on the game and the protest and stuff like that. And then after that, fan cams. So yeah, loads more to come. Loads more to come today, so keep your eyes peeled. But let's get into this transcript. This took place with a load of supporters groups yesterday. I'm going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to have to do it rushed, unfortunately, because I've left. I actually thought it was earlier than it is. I looked at the time. I was like, whoa, it's 2 o'clock. So here we go. Anyway, Vinai said, I wanted to say, first of all, to all of you on this call, and obviously all of the Arsenal fans, I'm really sorry for Arsenal's part in what has been a hugely difficult and really disturbing week for football, and in particular our fans. I wanted to be really clear how sorry I am for what has happened this week. I thought I would try to give you a little bit of background on this sorry tale. None of this was meant to excuse what has happened or at all meant to water down the apology, but I wanted to talk a little bit about and correct some of the things that are out there that simply aren't correct. The first thing I want to talk about is, despite the stories to the contrary, Arsenal were absolutely 100% categorically not the authors or the drivers of this proposal. It then said, that doesn't excuse what has happened, but we were not the authors of this proposal. As I said in the last fans forum, there are frequently Super League proposals out there that are developed by others, not Arsenal. Our approach that we have said publicly and privately lots of times is always to listen to make sure we protect the best interest of Arsenal in this situation. With what was clear to us is the train was leaving the station. This project was about to be launched with some of the biggest clubs in Europe, and we needed to assess if the launch happened without us and this tournament came to fruition without us, what would that mean for the club? Due to the concerns of that becoming a reality and us being left behind, we made the right decision to join. Sorry, he didn't say right decision. He said we made the decision to join. Sorry. Before I get that wrong, Jesus Christ. I'm not here to justify it. Absolutely 100%. I'm not trying to say that's okay, but I'm trying to explain it. It became immediately apparent that we made a bad decision, but a terrible decision too. When we made a bad decision, we don't want to follow it up with another bad decision, so we immediately got out as quick as we possibly can. Now we need to say sorry to lots of people, our players, our staff, and the authorities, other Premier League clubs, and most importantly, our fans. From the personal perspective, this has been an incredibly painful, and I hope you know that I love this football club as well. I work every hour of every day to make us the best we can be and build the best relationship we can between us and our fans. I hope I demonstrated that to you over many months and years, and I certainly haven't become a different person overnight. For me, I found it really, really tough, and my focus is now on doing the same, doing what we can repair, doing what we can to repair the damage that has been done and moving forward to get this club moving forward. I certainly won't be forgetting the mistakes, and that's made me even more determined to move the club forward. What a bunch of rubbish. It wouldn't surprise me if he had that written down and wrote it the night before. Make sure you pump the likes up. I'm just going to open this window 1 second. It is roasting in this house. It wouldn't surprise me one bit, which is why it's probably took so long to get to this, and getting them sitting around the table or sitting on a Zoom call and stuff like that. It wouldn't surprise me whether they've been sitting there drafting it up together, saying, what can we put out? Because obviously I wasn't on the Zoom call. I haven't seen the Zoom call. I haven't seen the faces or anything like that. But it wouldn't surprise me if he had that written down or had notes written down or wrote it down and memorized some of it or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that sounded extremely scripted, very PR, corporate jargon. So yes, at least he has admitted, like the Chronicle says, that he is a fraud. Let's continue, man. Let's continue. Let's go. Keep pumping these likes up, man. Let's go. Next was Josh Kroenke. He's some of the crap he come out with. Jesus Christ, I'll come to that in a minute. I'm here today to talk, and Vinai echoed many of my sentiments to the word. Leadership from my perspective, if any of you lead different organizations in your lives, making unpopular decisions that you may feel benefit larger groups over time is part of leadership. Therefore, hence trying to justify it. Leadership is also recognizing when you are wrong, quickly correcting your course of action, apologizing for the actions, and then educating yourself on how to lead better in the future. That is what I'm here today to do. I'm here to explain and listen, as this project took shape very, very fast. And we found ourselves two key questions. This was very, very fast. This has been in the making for years, so I don't know where he's got that one from. So anyway, he said, first question we asked ourselves, was a Super League worse with or without Arsenal? That was a very tough one for us to weigh up, but basically the decision was made that the Super League without Arsenal was the worst of those answers. That is what we acted upon. The second question is, what do the fans want? Well, maybe you should ask us. We tried to answer that question in as many ways as possible, but we're obviously bound to certain confidentiality aspects of the decision which we were thinking about making. It was much more complicated answer than we had time to contemplate. I think the global fans would want to see Arsenal Barcelona regularly as much as possible. I think European fans want to see more big matches between top class clubs, and because their domestic league is too predictable. I think for an English fan's perspective, this is what was so educating to me over the last 24 to 48 hours, and then going back 36 hours now. Sorry, this has been kind of a blur this week, he said. I haven't slept much. Whoa, my heart bleeds purple piss, my friend. He then carried on, saying for the English fan, they might want to see more big matches, but one Chelsea supporter wrote on a sign I saw online the other day, we still want your cold nights in Stoke. To me, that sent the wrong message that the EPL football in the UK and on the whole and fan sentiment in England, we got it wrong, and that's why we're here today apologising and to discuss it with you. That doesn't mean that a lot of our concerns and frustrations weren't addressed, or we don't still have them concerns. None of our intentions as part of this project were to harm the Premier League or football in any way. Okay. Most of our frustrations resided in larger conversations about European football as a whole. You've heard us talk primarily about the stability of football and the pyramid. They keep banging on about this pyramid. I don't think they cared about the pyramid when they did this, did they? And he says, we can talk about FFP enforcement. We can talk about, are we doing enough at European level to combat racism? But for stability of football and the pyramid and talking about grassroots programs, we're all for it. We want to make sure that maximizing those revenues and those opportunities to stabilize the footballing pyramid. Did we go about it in the incorrect manner this time? Absolutely. But we still think the issues reside. I can use from personal experience, a match in Baku. I met some amazing people. I enjoyed my trip very much. Aside from the 90 minutes of the match, it was a beautiful city and had a great trip. But the travel logistics and ticket allocation to the general environment of the stadium, I wondered if you're having a European final between the two London giants, if it was truly being maximised to its potential for the greater benefit of the football pyramid as a whole. We haven't really got to this, and there are certain things about the politics in Europe, like myself in America, will never understand. We couldn't bring one of our starting 11 to the most important matches of the season that year, which was incredibly frustrating from a club perspective. From a transparency of governance, we feel that these issues will reside, and we want to continue to work on those. We understand that there are emotions involved. We want to hear your emotions. Of course you do. And I want to understand those emotions. That's why I'm here today to listen. From myself, my father, and KSE, we apologise for the angst that we have caused everyone and the situation we have put ourselves in I apologise, and I'm here to listen to you. Keep smashing these likes up. I can't actually see any of the comments at the minute, but I will come back to them. This does go on for quite a while, so I'm just going to read the whole lot out, and then we'll discuss it. So let's get into the first question that he was asked. I can assure you, Josh, it's not just you that hasn't slept. A lot of us haven't slept for about 5 days trying to do our day job around trying to fight this. You asked yourself 2 questions. Is it worse for an ESL with Arsenal in or not? And what the fans want? That's an interesting question to me because I don't think I've been asked. That's class. I don't think anybody else here has been asked. You talk about leadership, about making decisions for the football club. Leadership is also listening to your customers. And I'm going to use that terminology because that's what I feel I am to you, a customer. You've never once listened to us, so I rebuff that massively. I've got 3 questions, but my first question is around the actual Super League. Do you believe that tournaments without sporting merit are actually a good thing? He put, I believe, sporting merit, yes. So why did you sign up to a Super League that potentially wasn't about sporting merit and kills the domestic game? He then goes, I'll go back to my original answer. The first question that we asked ourselves was an ESL good with or without Arsenal? He then got asked, are Arsenal still contracted to a Super League? Arsenal have obviously incurred costs here. Will KSE be paying them and not Arsenal Football Club? His reply was, absolutely. And to the second part of your question, I'd actually refer you to Vinai, where he can tell you the proper legal process. Fucking turn it in. This is mad. On the contract situation, I need to be careful with that because obviously there is legal stuff there. This is Vinai, obviously. Effectively, we are leaving. We're just working through the process of what that means contractually. We are just working through the legal formalities and what it means. Then they were asked, are you giving us assurance that this will never happen again? This is the interesting bit. Are you going to give us assurance that this will never happen again? His reply to this was very interesting. I don't think many people have picked up on this. Josh Kroenke's reply was, as that proposal was constructed, yes. Which basically means we're still going to try and do it. We might have to tweak a few things. As that proposal was constructed. So that proposal didn't have a relegation system. It didn't have a promotion system, whatever, blah-de-blah-de-blah. He said under that proposal, it was constructed, no. But then obviously, no, we won't be doing it. And he can give assurances on that, which means they are still going to try and do this. And not one person I've seen on social media has picked up on that. They're just going to make minor adjustments to it and try and force it again. What do I know? I'm not a billionaire. Anyway, another question. If you're really sorry, will you actually bother to engage with fans more, considering that's one of your key questions and you've never done it? You're actually going to commit to engaging with fans more, yeah? And would you ever consider reps at boardroom level? This club needs fans at boardroom level to represent. You got it wrong this week. It was a disgrace. The way you did it was cowardly. You launched it and didn't even try and justify it. Excuse me. I don't think you still have justified it personally. It's clear that you don't know enough about our game. You don't know enough about our club. Our club was built on traditions, on values and class. We've talked about that a lot. Kroenke's reply was, if you're expecting to see more of me, absolutely. Let's start with this call right now. From a board perspective, we as a club came together and made the decision as a board. That's why we put out the statement as we did, apologising immediately. And if you're hoping to interact with me on a more meaningful basis going forward, you have my words that that will absolutely be the case. Cool. Get on the next available flight then, pal. I'll give you the postcode and we can have a chat. Full of shit, bloke. Anyway, let's go. Carry on. Another question. We said no to a Super League many times. A rep at boardroom level would have told you that. Another question. In 2019, you said be excited. What should we be excited about? The Super League? Whoever asked that question is hilarious. And he said no. Josh Kroenke replied no. So the guy asked him, can you elaborate on those comments then? He said, I meant be excited for the future of Arsenal Football Club. So the guy replied back and said, at the minute, I feel ashamed to be part of Arsenal Football Club because of what's going on. Listen to how blunt and arrogant this guy is on this reply. Josh Kroenke, I understand the sentiment. Like, you taking the piss. Then the guy who was asking these questions then asked him, does KSC have a long-term investment plan for Arsenal apart from the Super League? And he went, absolutely. Well, why didn't you elaborate on that then? Like, and another thing I noticed, because I actually listened to this, it's on YouTube. I listened to it earlier on today because I read it last night and then I listened to it today because I wanted to hear the tone in his voice. And it just, like, I don't know why they were on a timescale either, by the way. Yeah, I think it was Mark Gonella, the communications guy, I think he is at Arsenal, was going, we've got 10 more minutes left, guys. What do you mean you got 10 more minutes left? It's all about 10 more minutes left. Let most of the fan base down that didn't want this. Yeah, pretty much all the fan base. And you've got 10 more minutes. You're taking the piss, bruv. Like, real talk about 10 minutes. You go when we tell you, you go. You got answers that we need. And anyway, let's carry on. Let's carry on. Right, next question. I'm ashamed to be an Arsenal fan. I couldn't sleep because I was so upset that a club I care about so much would do something like this. When will your father speak to us or the fans? He's a majority shareholder. He runs the club. Why has he never spoken to any Arsenal fan? Secondly, can you guarantee that Arsenal will never play their home matches away from Islington? And thirdly, why should we believe a single word that you have told us today? I can hear from your tone of voice that you're not really interested in being here. That's certainly the impression you are giving. When can we expect to speak to your father next? Josh Kroenke's reply. I would like to say that if you're hearing from me, you're hearing from my father. I've always said that for years. When I speak or he speaks, it's usually hearing from us both. What a dick. I might not be my father, but that's why I'm here today. Like, it's just all jargon, isn't it? As for my tone of voice, I'm doing my best to try and convey the feelings that are in my heart. And from a trust perspective, I'm not asking you to trust me. All of our trust was shredded this week. I fully understand. That's why I'm trying to rebuild some sort of relationship with the supporters, starting with yourselves today. You then got asked, can you guarantee we'll never play our home matches away from London while you and KSC own Arsenal? Excuse me. He said, I can guarantee that. Well, he can't, because if the stadium accidentally falls down tomorrow, then we might have to move somewhere else. So he should have said, yeah, barring something happening to the stadium, but that's by the by. Anyway, next question. Do you consider yourselves fit and proper owners and custodians of our club? Are KSC fully aware of the vast majority of this fan base believe you're not fit to be owners of our football club? Do you believe that this damage is repairable, or will KSC be looking to sell their shares in Arsenal? His reply, I still believe we're fit to carry on with our positions as custodians of Arsenal. We were put in a very difficult position by forces outside the club. So basically he's trying to say they were bullied into it. What a load of crap. To go back to those original questions that we got it wrong, those were the questions we asked ourselves, and that's why I'm here to try and piece everything back together over time. I'm not asking for your trust immediately. We have some plans for the summer, as we've had for a few weeks now, and I'm excited about those. I might be met with distrust and skepticism, but over time, I hope to re-establish a relationship with our supporter groups and show that we are capable of leading them forward. Then he got asked, you keep saying we hear you fans, but you didn't speak to us in the first place about it. We will be lobbying government to get fan representation at boardroom level. What is your view on that? And who made this ridiculous decision? Was it you, your father, Lord Harris, or the board? He said it was the board. As a club, we made the decision. We kept asking ourselves very difficult questions. The two main ones, which I've gone over repeatedly, it was a group decision. We wanted everyone's opinion on seeing what they thought, and I want to interact more in a meaningful way, whether that's at board level or fans forums. This has been an education into ourselves of the power of football fans across the world and the power of Arsenal fans, which is spectacular to see, honestly. Okay, mate. Next question. What are your feelings on fan groups or representatives of the fans being on the board level? He said it's a tough one. There are pros and cons. In the wake of everything that's transpired in the last few days, we're going to be asking ourselves many questions, including the one you've just asked me. So while I'm not giving you a yes or no answer, it's definitely something that's up for discussion, which means fuck off back to your hole. Do smash the likes up. How many people are watching? Nearly 700 people. Get these likes up and I'll come to your comments afterwards. I am on a totally different page. I haven't got my monitor here. I'm still in Spain, probably collecting dust. But one quick way you could build the trust with fans is to show us the meeting notes from those things, Josh. I keep saying to myself, if I had the opportunity to run Arsenal Football Club, there are millions of people in the world who'd love to look at you like a hero. So why don't you get involved with us and make this club great again? You've got an opportunity that no one else has. You need to do something for us. This is where I thought it was quite funny. Because if this actually happens, fair play, he's obviously had a heads up or just guessed right. He goes, and this is still the same question, there's going to be 20,000 fans outside the Emirates tomorrow. I'm not so sure there is. But listen, there might be. You never know. It has pissed a lot of people off, which is all down to the terrible decision for financial gain. What about the other 360 clubs in the English football leagues? Is that the Arsenal way? Just leave them behind. I'm disgusted. His reply, Josh replied with, all I can say is you have my word. You're going to be seeing a lot of me as you have hopefully in the last few years, and more over in London with the club. To the point I made earlier, I know the trust has been shredded, but you're going to see me trying to rebuild that both now and in the future. How many times has he said this, by the way? Hopefully, whether that's in many years' time or we'll be sitting in person having a pint. Okay. Not all English people drink pints, by the way. That's like saying, do you know the Queen? Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's carry on. I made my point about the conversations being delayed because of the pandemic. And that's definitely because I do have a preference of meeting people in person. You know, you will be seeing me more. I look forward to interacting with you guys and attempting to rebuild the trust. Next question was, some of the fans have also appreciate your efforts and help at the club. We understand the financial difficulties that this club has been through during the pandemic, but we are very concerned about the values and traditions that the club represents. What is the punishment going to be for leaving the Super League, and who is covering it? Anything related to ESL will be handled outside the club with KSE. We've done our best to be true to our values as long as we've been involved in the club, from a self-sustaining model to the different values the club represents throughout the history. This has been one reflection point where obviously these values were not upheld, and we're trying to say that we see that it was a unique moment in time and very difficult for a lot of reasons. We're going to, let me start again. We're going to be about those values both now and moving forward. This was a moment in time that was very difficult, and we obviously didn't honor those traditions. Next question. You say the trust has been broken, but I don't believe that's true because the fans of Arsenal never trusted you. Big up to him, by the way, whoever stuck that question out there. That's fucking hilarious. I know that's very offensive, but that's the reality, and you need to learn. It's really important to engage with fans much, much more if you want to gain the trust. Right now, you're asking. Right now, people are asking what it would take for you to sell the club. That's the reality. That's what I want you to consider really hard. What would it? What I'd like to ask you. What will you do to engage with fans more? He said, what I'll do to engage with fans more, well, starting with interactions such as on this Microsoft team. Well done, mate. Well, where have you been then? Because we've been in a pandemic for about a year, mate, and this is the first time you've popped up. Maybe you had no internet. I don't know. Many more interactions like this and in person. I'm going to be sitting down in the boardroom as we did over Highbury several years ago. It's going to be scheduled appearances by myself with dialogue back and forth between the likes of us. Next question. From our perspective, we never had a conversation with you, and that's too easy. So there's many people here that would love to help you make Arsenal a fantastic club. Just engage with us and take our invitation. You put absolutely, I accept. And your point about trust, I'm well aware of that, and it's really hard to trust. And what teeny bit we had taken forward, I know has been shredded as well. That's why I'm going to continually say I'm here to try and build the bridges. If there ever was a plank or no planks on the bridge of trust, I'm here to start building them back. Next question. I promise you the guys here are willing to meet you on a weekly basis to let you know what us fans want. We want to help you if you want to engage with us. He said, thank you very much. Next question. As you've had the opportunity to reflect over the last few days, could you tell what the decision making could you tell what fucking hell, I'm having a mare. As you've had the opportunity to reflect over the last days, could you tell what was missing from the decision-making process of the board to end up in this situation? When the next offer comes along, what will you do differently? He then said, the answer to your first question is obviously we misjudged a lot of things. We rushed into a decision because of time constraints. They're making out like they didn't know about this and that it was going to go ahead without them. They were in meetings back in 2017, by the way. Anyway, let's carry on. We know how everyone feels about the proposal and it was as it was constructed. So if anything like that comes across our desks in future, it wouldn't be something we'd entertain. The media is talking about an £8 million fine for the Super League. Are KSE paying this? He's already answered that. Are we looking to take any of the 55 redundancies back? He said, first part, I've said previously, KSE are covering all costs related to the ESL. The club is not incurring anything. From a redundancy perspective, we've made some very difficult decisions as part of a pandemic to make sure the club is running as efficiently as possible. They are not fun or popular decisions internally or externally, but they're ones we felt had to be done. Keep pumping these likes up, people. And I'll come back to the comment section in a minute because I literally can't see any of them. Let me quickly check. Let me read that before it goes off screen. Give fans a little discount. I think Ray Patterson, I'm going to come to that in a minute. I'm coming to that, young man. I need to hurry up, though, because I've got 17 minutes before my rants. Thank you very much for that, Nicholas. I'll come back to you, and I'll come back to all of you in a minute. Just keep pumping these likes up because I want to read through this real quick. There's quite a bit left, not a massive amount, maybe about another 4 paragraphs. Right. Then Vinai spoke about the redundancies. He said, on the redundancy stuff, we obviously spoken about those at fan forums, horrendously difficult decisions to make because of the extreme impacts in a pandemic it has had on our football club to make our club more sustainable in the future. Those are decisions we can't go back and change. I can't give you the number, but your information in the article about spending 8 million on equity stakes, that number is absolutely miles off in terms of it's too high. Well, even so, even if it's 2 million quid, it could have paid for someone in 55 staff to keep their jobs for a few more years, couldn't it? Numpties. Somebody said, next question. I'm from Gay Gooners. Arsenal lead the way in equality and inclusion across the game. I've had many difficult conversations this week on all different levels. Our position as a focal point as leaders in a fan movement. We have a ghost in the room. Where was we? As a fan movement has been put at risk due to the ESL. How will the club ensure they repair the relationship with the clubs, but also ensure the fan clubs have their respect restored? Vinai said, in terms of relationships with the other clubs, I think it's a really good and important point. I think I said that we made a terrible decision to do this. We need to take some time to make good decisions after. The first was getting out of it as quickly as possible. The second was to demonstrate how sorry we are to people. And I've been in touch with now every single one of the clubs who were not part of this proposal to offer an absolute unreserved apology from Arsenal to their club for what we have done. I've explained what happened, why we did it, and we're hugely regretful. And we discussed how we would best work together going forward. Those relationships are obviously different, each club, and we're obviously working hard to rebuild each one. Arsenal's good name and reputation needs to be restored. Next question, Josh, you mentioned about class and tradition and cited self-sustaining model. Clearly the self-sustaining model isn't working. When are you going to admit that it isn't working? And when are you going to start investing substantial funds into Arsenal Football Club? Best question on the whole thing. If not, if you don't want to, sorry, when do you want to sell? Whoever stuck that question on him, fair play to you, man. Josh's reply, I think that question's a very interesting one. We're also willing to provide resources for Arsenal, and we have supported the club for the last several years. I think the question you're asking also resides on a much larger question about football. If you're always going to be recruiting the next person and pumps tens and hundreds of millions into a club, that is not sustainable across Europe at any football club. For us, I think we're not afraid to be aggressive at different points in time. Hopefully you've noticed over the last few transfer windows, we have been a bit more aggressive. Willian, well done, mate. Danny Ceballos on loan, yep. Odegaard on loan, yep, loan, yep. David Luiz, yep, well done, mate. Yeah, we've been really aggressive. Well done. The model that is currently out there is not sustainable over the long term, and that should very much worry supporters. While the answer to your question is who's the next wealthy person who can come in and funnel money into the club, and I don't think that's the right answer for Arsenal Football Club as a whole. If somebody doesn't come in, this was the next question. If somebody doesn't come in and do what we're just going to fall lower and lower down the pyramid, that's not what we want. We want to be great again. Josh replied with 100% correct. That's what we all want. It's simply not a sustainable model for global football. That's why I go back to some of my comments about governance and about FFP enforcement or things to that nature. We need transparency at certain levels of governance. Otherwise, the game is not going to be in a good place in the future. And we have got 2 paragraphs left. What is your exit strategy and when do you want to sell? This geezer's asked 3 good questions in a row, to be fair. That's mad. I'm not willing to answer that question because I have no intention of selling, he said. Vinai then put, just to build that point, my personal view is that the football model is based on trying to find as many people as we can out there that, who are going to pump money into football clubs. They are not going to be able to stand on their feet. I think the industry is in real trouble because if you don't have a healthy top of the pyramid, that's the challenge we have at the moment. Not Arsenal, I should say, have their backs to the wall. But if other clubs fail and they can't pay money they owe, then other clubs fail off of the back of that. I will say for the record that KSE have refinanced the stadium debt to effectively 200 million quid, where we're going to lose well over 100 million this year. And it's KSE standing behind that. Whether we do it in a transfer window, in this transfer window, it's KSE standing behind that. So basically what he's saying is this summer transfer window, KSE are paying for it, yeah? Is that what you're saying, mate? Okay, spin. What a load of bollocks. And Josh finished up by saying, just wanted to say I do appreciate that question because it's such a complicated answer that leads to some true issues that we have gripes with. Back to the governments of European football. I look forward to interacting with you and other supporters groups going forward because I do love this club. Of course you do. I know it's been a crazy week at a lot of levels and we have not represented us or yourselves in a positive manner, both internally or externally. But you're going to be seeing a lot more of me. We're going to be interacting a lot more. It's on myself and the rest of the ball to push this club, and we're going to be listening to you guys a lot. So thank you for your question. That concludes the fans forum, which we all knew was going to be a load of bollocks. And it turned out to be a load of bollocks. To be fair, some of the questions that got put to him, fair play, because I didn't expect it to be that ruthless. But the one thing I will say is some of his answers were just diluted, watered down shit. Why didn't nobody question him on them? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Some of them did, but you know, as soon as he's given 1-2 word answers, go back at him. And like I said, I don't know why it was on a timescale. I don't know why they had to finish it in a certain time. I don't get that. But listen, I'm on Rance's channel in 9 minutes, so we're going to rifle through some of these. Ray Parlour made himself look a right prat this morning to Robbie. He was very rude to him, saying that AFTV only benefits when Arsenal are losing and questions whether he truly supports Arsenal. I am going to speak about that right now. Let me tell you this, right? Ray Parlour, when he was sitting there, and I've watched it. Yeah, I've watched it. He deliberately went for him today. And the reason he deliberately went for him is because he don't like AFTV, despite being on it about 4 or 5 times over the years. So number one, he's a fucking hypocrite. Number two, he knows what he's doing. He knows a lot of old school fans don't like AFTV. And he can be one, oh, I'm in with, yeah, look, all the old school fans, oh, yeah, he's had a go at Robbie. Yeah, knowing that they're all going to the stadium tonight. If any drama kicks off at the stadium, that's Ray Parlour's doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Fucking the bloke's a prick, mate. Absolute scumbag. Yeah, out of order. Every time Robbie goes on there, and listen, I'm not AFTV's biggest fan. Yeah, I watch a few people. That's it. Yeah, but every time Robbie goes on there, they either take the piss out of him in terms of it's all about the money and the views. Yeah, which is kind of funny considering TalkSport's whole fucking business model's built on that as well. Let's just get everyone on for the drama. Yeah, and you're accusing other people of doing that. Yeah, sit back down, number one. Number two, yeah, fucking, they were taking Simon Jordan was taking the piss out of Troops and the way he speaks a couple of months back. And now this. It's like every time he goes on there, I don't know why he bothers doing it. I tell him, fuck off. But there you go. That's just me, my guy. Big up to you, Alex. Appreciate that, my guy. But listen, Ray Parlour is only going to back the club. He's only going to back the club. And when Robbie said to him, yeah, but you got your job at Arsenal, he goes, I ain't got a job at Arsenal. Oh, okay, then. So what, you gone the pre-season tour for fuck all then, do you? Yeah? So you get a freebie. Is that why you back the club all the time? You never come out and say it as it is. Well, because you get your freebie. Ian Wright's another one. Fair play to him, though, because he did tweet Kroenke out the other day. So let's see whether he's at the protest tonight. Because it's all well and good putting a fucking tweet out. Is he going to the protest then? Probably not. Probably not. This is sickening as a United fan, but at least the Glazers know they're knobheads and keep quiet. And there's no Zoom calls going on. Get them all out, bruv. This owner's son. I actually believe he is the owner. I don't think Stan is. I think Josh is. And I do think he knows a lot more about football than he lets on. Yeah, he plays on the fact that, oh, I don't know about this, and I don't. Of course, he fucking does. He knows a lot more than he lets on. A lot more than he lets on. And listen, fucking Nick, I swear, like they just take the piss. Honestly, mate, they take the piss. But this is where my gripe is with protest. Yeah, and I've said it yesterday. Good luck to everybody who goes there tonight. Listen, if that's what you feel you want to do, and that's your way of getting your message out there, good luck to you, man. Me personally, I'm not going. And the reason I'm not going, yeah, is because most of the people that will be there tonight will have a ticket for next season. So it defeats the object. Yeah, get the fuck out of our club, but here's another load of money for next season. It just makes no sense to me. But listen, if there is 20,000 people there, like they were told in this fans forum that there might be, fucking amazing, because that'll make a lot of noise and that'll be seen everywhere. So good luck to them, man. Let's carry on. Big up to Davion. Ray Parlour should stop his waffle. Go protest with the hashtag Kroenke out and unite. There you go. If Josh confirmed KSE operate a self-sustaining model, how are they paying for anything? There you go. They're paying for it out of their own pocket, apparently. I don't know how that works, mate. TalkSport always have a go at black YouTubers, especially Robbie. To be fair, every time he goes on there, mate, they attack him. Whether it's Simon Jordan, whether it's Ray Parlour, yeah, always having a go at him, man. Yeah, and do you know what it is? I don't necessarily put it down to the fact that that he's a black man. I don't put it down to that. Maybe there is a bit of that. I don't know. I can't speak for them on that. What I personally think it is, they're fucking jealous. Yeah, they're jealous that a man on his own has built up a channel that makes a fucking fortune. Yeah, and they're jealous of that because he didn't need a big organization to back it. Yeah, and they're fucking jealous of that. Massively jealous of that. Yeah, and they can't hack it. So listen, good luck to them, man. Like, they can do what the fuck they want. Yeah, if I was Robbie, yeah, and I'm not telling him how to fucking do anything because listen, his channel's fucking 25 times bigger than mine. Yeah, probably more than that. Yeah, if I was him and I was getting asked to go on TalkSport next time, I'd tell him go suck their mum. That's exactly that's the exact words. Go suck your mum. Robbie would probably be a bit more diplomatic than that. But there you go. Oh dear. Anyway, let's carry on. I've literally got to go any second now. Arsenal are KSE's most successful club. That says all you need to know about KSE. Lee, I love you. Thank you very much. I love you too. They went at Troops. They did. Simon Jordan again went at Troops about it, the way he speaks. I think Troops told him to suck his mum. Let's go. Let's Let's do a few more and I'm getting out of here. Rance is waiting. Yeah, I better go, man. I'm going. Listen, I'm going. I will be back at 6:45. I love your style, Lee. Thank you, man. Listen, I just say it as it is, mate. People don't like it. A lot of people want to slap me up, smash my face in, and all sorts. And then on the flip side of that, for every one of them, there's about 50 other people that love my show. So there you go. Anyway, big up to all of you lot. I'm going to get myself out of here before Rance presses live. 239 likes is a joke considering we've got 1,000 people watching. So if you haven't hit the likes, make sure you hit the likes. I'll be back with Rance in a minute. In fact, go to Rance's chat right now. Yeah, just go to the chat and say Rat Army, and say Lee Gunner sent me, and I'll be there literally 5 minutes tops. And we're out of here. Big up to everyone in the chat, man. Laters.